Pete, thanks for joining us. First, let's look back at last Friday's victory over Jersey. Important victory, and also the manner of victory must have been pleasing, scoring 6 tries.
Yeah, terribly pleasing. We played in Moseley the week before in tough conditions and didn't score a try for the first time this year. So on a Friday night in tough conditions to score 6 tries was particularly pleasing. And after a long run of losses, to get back to winning ways in such emphatic style was very pleasing.
Did the boys feel any pressure after 4 defeats in a row?
Yeah, of course there's an element of pressure about about delivering a performance. I think the week before at Moseley we were ready to do that, but the conditions just didn't allow us to. It was a bit of a coin flip in terms of might as well have played water polo on the pitch in Moseley. So back at home where we've been unbeaten in the league this year, it was very important against a very good Jersey team to get back to winning ways. But like I say, look at the results over the weekend. Not a great deal of tries scored, so for us to score 6 was testament to the performance.
What pleased you most from a back's point of view?
Certainly, I think the back 3 guys, clearly they all got on the score sheet, which is pleasing. But on an evening game for all of the back 3 guys to score tries shows that we do play with even in those conditions. When it was on, that we were able to get the ball into our danger men's hands. And I think Matt Williams, Miles, and Pete Lydon all. Over the last few weeks, perhaps a bit frustrated with the amount of ball they've got, but they showed, particularly Miles Mantella, I think on Friday night, showed a really, really good performance and back to some of his best form.
We've got Doncaster this weekend. That's going to be another tough test.
Really tough. They've had some big scalps this season. Newly promoted, they started with a real bang, and a couple of losses recently, so they'll be burning from that. They lost to Moseley, at home last weekend, so they'll be burning on what to respond. So the last game in this period of league games before we go into the BNI Cup, every team will give it their all because you've got a few weeks to consolidate that position in the league. So we spoke the last time about Plymouth was the last game of that period, that it was very important for us to finish with a big performance, so we can reflect on that for 3 or 4 weeks. So equally this way, but it's a far trickier fixture, I think, going away from home to Doncaster, long travel up and all that sort of stuff, and again tricky conditions I expect we're going to play in, but very important that we continue the form from last week and back up that impressive win.
As you said, the conditions could be a major influence in the game. The kicking game last weekend was very impressive. That's going to be an important factor again?
Yeah, I think so. It's as we enter these winter months, it's no secret a lot of teams do more kicking. When the ground's hard, it's running that's at the fore, and when it's slightly wetter and harder to handle, then kicking becomes an important part of the game. And it's certainly something that went well for us against Jersey, and away from home in tricky conditions potentially this weekend. It's going to be a big part of our game, and not just how we kick, but how we chase as well. And I think we showed on Friday evening the energy in our kick chase line was really, really good and allowed us plenty of opportunities to play, and we'll need the same again this week.
Doncaster seem to have settled in well back in the Championship. They've had, as you said, they've had notable scouts. They beat Yorkshire Carnegie, they've beaten Cornish Pirates, they've beaten Bedford. So, and they lost to Moseley last week. But does that just show the nature of this league? It's, every game's tough. Well,
absolutely. We lost to Moseley, who hadn't won a game last week, and shows that on their day anyone can beat anyone. I think that's notable. On our day, I think we can beat anyone, and I think that the game at the weekend will be very evenly matched. And like I said, they'll be trying to respond from a loss, and we're on the high from a win. But we've got to come back down to earth and put in another performance. And it's on the day. I think who deals with conditions better. Certainly against Moseley. Moseley dealt with those conditions better. Probably at the weekend against Jersey, we were the ones that dealt with the greasy conditions slightly better. So we'll see what comes on Saturday, and if we can cope and react to that as and when during the game, we should be on the right side of it.
Couple of London Scots, former London Scots in their line-out, Colin Quigley in the front row, Tyler Hodgson, who left last season, so it'll be good to be up against these boys again. Well,
a challenge for us, yeah. There'll be obviously some familiarity in some of those scrums and line-outs, but someone like Tyler Hodgson knows the techniques and whatnot of our team, so we're going to have to be on our money to make sure there's plenty of variety in what we do, so that he's not on top of our cooling systems. But it's always nice to play against old players, isn't it? Because there'll be a few scores to settle in there, and I'll be interested to see how those early exchanges play out.
Just finally, a word on Adam Kwasnicki. It's going to be his 100th appearance this weekend, only the third London Scot since the incredible journey began in 1999 to reach that number of appearances. That's a great effort.
Super effort from Adam. He's been, for us this season, been a real standout in a lot of the stuff we do, and really pleased for him. 100 games. Hopefully, the rest of the boys can. I've heard some of them mention it today about it being his weekend, and boys putting in an extra special effort, hopefully for him, to make sure this is a memorable game for him. He's been a really good servant to London Scottish. Certainly in my time here has been a real crucial member of the squad, and a really good guy as well. So wish him all the best, and like I said, we've got to make sure we pick up a W to make it a memorable one.
Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.